Have you ever wondered what happened to some of history's most famous figures who just disappeared? One moment they were there, making headlines, and the next, they vanished into thin air, leaving behind a legacy of unanswered questions. Today, we're diving into the captivating stories of legendary individuals who vanished without a trace. From pioneering aviators to audacious hijackers, their tales continue to baffle experts and fascinate the public. Let's start with a name that's almost synonymous with mystery: Amelia Earhart. In 1937, Earhart, a true icon of aviation, was on the verge of making history by becoming the first woman to circumnavigate the globe. Alongside her navigator, Fred Noonan, she had completed over 22,000 miles of the treacherous journey. Their final stretch was a challenging leg across the vast Pacific Ocean, from Lae, New Guinea, to Howland Island, a tiny speck of land just 2 square miles in size. On July 2nd, they took off. During the flight, Earhart communicated with the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Itasca, stationed near Howland Island. Her radio transmissions became increasingly desperate. She reported being unable to see the island and that they were running low on fuel. Her final message, heard by the Itasca, was, "We are on the line 157,337. We will repeat this message. We will repeat this on 6,210 kilocycles. Wait, then silence." An immense search and rescue operation, the most extensive in naval history at the time, was launched. They found nothing. No wreckage, no debris, no sign of Earhart or Noonan. So what happened? The most widely accepted theory is the crash and sink theory. It suggests that they simply ran out of fuel, missed Howland Island, and crashed into the deep Pacific Ocean. The plane and its occupants would have sunk quickly, leaving no trace. Given the limitations of 1930s search technology and the sheer vastness of the ocean, it's a plausible, if tragic, explanation. But the mystery doesn't end there. Another compelling theory involves Gardner Island, now known as Nikumaroro. This uninhabited atoll is located about 350 nautical miles southeast of Howland Island. Proponents of this theory, led by the International Group for Historic Aircraft Recovery, or TIAR, believe Earhart and Noonan may have made an emergency landing on the island's flat coral reef. For years, TIAR has conducted expeditions to Nikumaroro, and their findings are intriguing. They've discovered artifacts that could potentially be linked to the castaways: fragments of a woman's shoe, a sextant box, and even a piece of aluminum sheeting that matches the specific type used on Earhart's Lockheed Electra. In 1940, a British colonial officer discovered a partial human skeleton on the island, but unfortunately, those bones have since been lost. Were Earhart and Noonan castaways on a deserted island, surviving for a time before succumbing to the elements? It's a tantalizing possibility that keeps the search alive. Of course, with any great mystery come the more fringe theories. Some speculate that Earhart was actually on a spy mission for the U.S. government, was captured by the Japanese, and died in their custody. Others even suggest she survived, returned to the U.S. under a new identity, and lived a quiet life in New Jersey. While these ideas make for great fiction, they lack concrete evidence. For now, Amelia Earhart's fate remains one of history's greatest unsolved puzzles, a testament to her adventurous spirit and the enduring power of a good mystery. Now let's fast forward a few decades to Thanksgiving Eve, 1971. A man in a business suit, calling himself Dan Cooper, boarded Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 in Portland, Oregon, bound for Seattle. He was quiet, ordered a bourbon and soda, and seemed like any other traveler. But shortly after takeoff, he handed a note to a flight attendant. Thinking it was his phone number, she initially ignored it. "Miss, you'd better look at that note," Cooper insisted. "I have a bomb." He opened his briefcase to reveal a mess of wires and red sticks, and his demands were clear: $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck standing by in Seattle to refuel the plane upon arrival. The airline and the FBI complied. The plane landed in Seattle, the passengers were released, and the money and parachutes were brought aboard. Cooper then instructed the pilots to take off again, this time heading for Mexico City at a low altitude and slow speed. Somewhere between Seattle and Reno, Nevada, under the cover of a dark and stormy night, Cooper did the unthinkable. He lowered the aft stairs of the Boeing 727 and, with the ransom money strapped to him, jumped out into the freezing wilderness. He was never seen or heard from again. The FBI launched one of the most extensive and longest-running investigations in its history, codenamed NORIC for Northwest Hijacking. They interviewed hundreds of people, chased down thousands of leads, and scoured the projected jump zone. But they found nothing. No Cooper, no parachute, no money. It was as if he had vanished into folklore. For years, the case went cold. Was D.B. Cooper an experienced paratrooper, a military veteran with survival skills? Or was he an amateur who likely didn't survive the perilous jump into rugged terrain in the middle of the night? Experts are divided. The conditions were terrible: high winds, freezing rain, and darkness. Many believe he couldn't have survived the landing. Then, in 1980, a young boy named Brian Ingram, vacationing with his family along the Columbia River, made a startling discovery. While digging in the sand, he unearthed 3 rotting bundles of cash. The serial numbers matched the ransom money given to Cooper. This was a huge break, but it only deepened the mystery. The money was found miles from the estimated drop zone, and it was only a small fraction of the total ransom. How did it get there? Did it wash down the river? Was it buried by Cooper, who planned to return for it? The FBI could never definitively say. Over the decades, dozens of suspects have been named, from military veterans to career criminals, but none have ever been definitively proven to be the man who called himself Dan Cooper. The FBI officially closed the active investigation in 2016, concluding that the resources would be better used on other cases. D.B. Cooper became the only unsolved air piracy case in American history. He is a modern-day folk hero to some, a guy who beat the system and got away with it. His audacious crime and clean getaway have cemented his place in legend. Another fascinating disappearance takes us to the world of politics. In 1930, Judge Joseph Force Crater was a respected New York Supreme Court justice. He was a man with a bright future, well connected within the powerful Tammany Hall political machine. On the night of August 6, 1930, he had dinner with friends at a restaurant in Manhattan's Theater District. After the meal, he hailed a cab, waved to his companions, and said he was heading uptown. He was never seen again. His disappearance was baffling. He didn't seem to be in any trouble. In fact, he had just returned from a vacation with his wife. When he failed to appear for the opening of the courts in September, a massive police investigation was launched. What they uncovered was a secret life. Judge Crater had been withdrawing large sums of money from his bank accounts. He had a safe deposit box that he had emptied shortly before he vanished. And he had a mistress. The police explored every possibility. Did he run off to start a new life with his mistress? Did he have gambling debts that caught up with him? Or, as many suspected, was his disappearance connected to the corruption scandals that were beginning to plague Tammany Hall? Crater had powerful and potentially dangerous friends and enemies. Did he know too much? Was he about to expose something, and was he silenced to prevent it? The case became a media sensation. "Where's Crater?" became a common catchphrase. For years, sightings of the judge were reported from all over the country, but none ever panned out. The mystery took a strange turn in 2005 when a letter was discovered written by a woman who had died. She claimed that her husband and his brothers, one of whom was a police officer, were responsible for Crater's demise, and that his body was buried under the Coney Island boardwalk. However, An excavation of the site found nothing. To this day, Judge Crater's fate is officially unknown. He remains the missingest man in New York. From the skies over the Pacific to the wilderness of the Pacific Northwest and the bustling streets of New York City, these stories share a common thread. They leave us with more questions than answers. They challenge our understanding of what is possible and remind us that some secrets may be lost to history forever. The legends of Amelia Earhart, E.B. Cooper, and Judge Crater endure not just because of who they were, but because of the profound and unsettling mystery of where they went. What do you think happened to them? Do you have a favorite theory, or do you know of another famous disappearance we should cover? Let us know in the comments below. We love hearing your thoughts and diving into these fascinating mysteries together. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more explorations of history as greatest enigmas. We'll see you in the next one.